Alright, so not a proper stream today, as I am about to leave on summer vacation, but I did want to get some games in with with some of the new cards before going. So first deck up today, we're trying a Riven Akshan sort of aggressive deck. So Akshan, one of the new champions that just arrived in this new sort of mini expansion with this special event. He says that when he's summoned or he strikes, he summons a Warlord's Palace or advances it one round. Warlord's Palace is a landmark that when it counts down provides you with choice from several bonuses. When it does count down, he levels up. And his leveled mode does a very similar thing, except my game is stuttering here for some reason, but anyway. Does a very similar thing, except he summons a Warlord's Horde, which when it counts down provides several options that are significantly more powerful. Let's go through some of them right now. We either get to grant all enemies vulnerable and create in hand a zero-cost copy of the strongest ally that died this game. We get to draw 2 and have all our cards cost 1 less for the round, or we grant all our champions everywhere spell shield and +2/+2, and these are all focus levels spells that it generates that cost 0. So very, very powerful effects for the cost. The stipulation being, of course, that you have to count down this landmark, which has a pretty high countdown cost of 8. So one of the ways that we are trying to do that as quickly as possible, so obviously landmarks count down round to round, and Akshan striking will accelerate that, but you'll note that both landmarks say when you target allies, advance me 1. So that's why we're pairing Akshan with Riven and her followers, since the Reforge mechanic synergizes naturally with this concept. Other new cards that we're trying as well, we got Grappling Hook, 3 mana, strike an enemy, or an ally strikes an enemy, but you have to target that ally in the round. So since we obviously have a constant flow of blade fragments or the blade itself to target our allies, we're counting down those Warlords landmarks. We also can then pay an additional 3 mana to have one of our allies strike an enemy. So in Runeterra, the ability for one of your units to strike another unit and not receive retaliatory damage is a very powerful effect. And again, because we're generating blade fragments as easily as we are blade fragments and other things, this seems like an obvious choice to try out. One of the better rated removal spells in the game that's similar to this is Whirling Death, but it requires both the striking ally and enemy to be in battle, and that can be a tough sell sometimes, right? Like the thing you want to target on your opponent's side of the board, they could simply not put it into combat. Or other times, the unit you want to be striking, you don't want to make it vulnerable by putting it into combat. So something like Grappling Hook with the small cost of having to target an ally seems like it'd be a great fit. Now, most of the time, since the things we're using to target cost 1, this thing actually costs 4 because of that. So the cost is a little bit misleading. It's not quite 3. It's a little bit more expensive than that, but still. And then finally, we're just trying out this this Vagabond, this new card. 3 mana, 3/3, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 2 rounds. So I think with this card, and maybe in early Akshan, you obviously can accelerate a Warlord's Palace quite quickly. It's possible then maybe in a game you trigger 2 Warlord's Palace. I'm not sure how feasible or good that's going to be most of the time, but we'll see. The rest of the deck is pretty obvious. Cards that you would expect. Considering we're talking about, Riven and her Reforge mechanic and the followers, we got all the typical Shurima goodness that you'd find in a more aggressively slanted Shurima deck, and we got Shapestone since we are producing or just playing several landmarks, and we got a couple Brothers Bond in here as well. Grant 2 allies +2/+2. In theory, this should count down the Warlords landmarks too. Not much more to say than that. Let's just jump into some games and see how we do. And I'm going to be muting myself every once in a while because I want to eat breakfast. So enjoy that image. It seems like a pretty solid curve here. We don't have Akshan to get the Warlord's Palace in play as soon as possible, but we have the Vagabond as a backup, which is good because we again, we want to advance it and start advancing as soon as possible to make sure that Akshan, when he comes down, is leveled.
I hope that was mud.
So I was gonna play Riven on 3, but I think we want to play the Vagabond on 3 anyway, or rather. And makes sense in this case too, because if we want to curve 1, 2, 3, we're not gonna have the mana to use the blade fragment from her anyway. It's not like it's fleeting though, so it's not like that big of a deal, but
Sun's beneath me and winds behind me.
I'm not sure what our opponent's playing. I think there used to be like a Mushrooms, Freljord, Burn deck that was a thing for a while.
What a shame for you!
They could still be on that. I was gonna just open attacks next turn, but now that's much less profitable. They also... Ooh. So I think we want to play Akshan now.
Cooks to kill. You know how it is.
We can hook this guy, which means he strikes, and we don't have to worry about retaliation. This checks this. This hitting us every once in a while I don't think is a big deal. Do have to worry a bit about Avalanche from our opponent.
Cool eye patch.
You like it? I mean, shut up and fight!
Okay, Avalanche out of our opponent much less likely at this point. I think I'm gonna play the Ruin Runner on 5 and start getting that going. That's also tempting.
Seen tombs, towns, and everything in between.
I see. That's what he's up to.
After them!
Do we think they have a, This is not buffing him enough anyway.
I've carved meat bigger than you. I'm back next.
Oh, also, they're obviously playing Poros. I now see. This one being the most problematic.
We love it when they run!
I probably should have thrown this guy away a lot earlier, huh? To create space. So Poro snacks do what? It's +1/+1? Okay. It's not so bad. Do that proactively since we spend our mana, and it also means that we're gonna start with this.
Fixing the world one scoundrel at a time.
That's grappling hook, so that's pretty good. Predict then draw one summon or grant all allies +1. I think we're gonna open attacks granting all allies +1, huh? Oh, if I do that though, oh, now it's not gonna let me reverse.
Righteously reclaimed. In and out. Finally, some action.
I apologize if I'm recording chewing noises. But of course. Probably want to kill this one, or maybe this one because he's gonna recover. It's kind of a big chunky boy, but this is permanently 7, so it kind of keeps that in check, so that's fine. Let's see. I might want to say that vulnerable thing for another
Sand
point.
and trouble far as the eye can see.
That's enough life gain out of you.
Scared of a fair fight?
Alright, so if I know that if I realize when I should have that they're playing Poros, we get a little bit more aggressive in the early game and take out their stuff before he starts buffing them. We probably mulligan differently as well, looking for things to make their stuff vulnerable. But I'll chalk that up to not playing this game in a long time. The last time I've seen someone play a Poros deck is like basically never.
You'll thank me later.
Got it!
I don't need rules to know good from bad.
One sprint for each crab I saw today. I'll show you how it's done.
It's a trap!
Greed'll turn any man into a monster. Draw them blind.
These are so far across the salt flats.
Tea for 2.
Do it!
Not worth my time.
That's good with this card down the line. What do we think? Can I play? I don't think
Chase what
they're
you
likely to
want
play their
without
own Ruin
mercy.
Runner at this point. I think I'm just gonna play mine.
Without a sound.
Get him. pretty much forced to block. Otherwise, we could potentially get blown out by his double strike attack, so we're gonna block here.
Brave and done. Words of power linger in the air. We love it when they run!
Scores to settle, cook to kill. Fixing the world, one scoundrel at a time.
Off we go! Go down!
Yoink!
Nice. We want to play Grappling Hook likely next round, so I think I'm just going to bank the spell mana. We want to play this thing as well.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them!
+2 attack. Do I go for the throat here? This plus this, and getting rid of a blocker with this means we could potentially
The world won't save itself, you know.
potentially push lethal. Oh, right, duh.
Everyone should have a grappling hook.
Do not disappoint me.
Quit struggling!
Look at them shaking in their boots. Ah!
Was hoping to hit our 1-drop there, so their open attacks isn't as good.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton! Right, Arda?
Out here, you're moving or you're dead.
Seize control.
How much do we care about Zed leveling up?
You're dead meat!
You lost.
Yeah, if their last card is like a Twin Disciplines, we obviously could die to that.
I crave what is ours.
Would you look at this place? Still riding that old sand runner? I'll buy you something nice. This sand runner makes... I'm a woman of principle. Time is when you get paid.
So we're gonna attempt to level this and take advantage of the ability. That only did 1 out of 2. Not too bad.
The power of the written word.
Didn't lose any relics on the ride over, did you?
No, and I'm fine. Thanks for asking. My board! It is written.
Sweet.
Tea to gain the strength of rivers. Tea for 2.
I don't need rules to know good from bad. This is justice.
How did that move go?
He's gonna twin disciplines here, trying to get us, but we got the shape stone. And what's great about using that there wasn't quite a 1-for-1, right? It's like we both traded combat tricks there, and he lost a whatever, a 1-drop unit, but we also counted down our Warlord's Palace, so just that little bit of extra, you know, value out of every target is nice. Also, let's look at this artwork while we're waiting for our opponent to do his thing.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
Okay, we're gonna pass here because if our opponent wants to attack, we can kill his set in combat.
Oh, come now.
This should give us like 2 countdowns, right? 1 for the target of an ally and 1 for the striking. Yeah. Part of me just wants to get in, but
If it's made of sand, I can write.
I can play this, and whatever he plays is made vulnerable, so I can just swing in anyway with Akshan and not worry. Probably play the Rune Weaver as well. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that happen, which is unfortunate because we were really cooking.
Vengeance with a smile.
Okay, spider aggro. Got a nice curve here. Might actually keep the Profiteer. No, I think we should look for a 3-drop. Yeah, there she is. Blocks their fearsomes, can make a key unit on their side of the table vulnerable for us to take out with Akshan. If it's a little chunkier, Shapestone helps with that.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
Turn 1/1-2 with Fearsome. They are definitely off to a good start.
Good people don't look the other way.
I pull the string.
They tend not to have interaction in their decks, but that unfortunately, Elise's a little bit bigger booty means we can't get in for a free attack with Akshan. If they open attacks, we'll probably use Shapestone to try to block and kill Elise.
Now you've gone.
If they don't, like they've done here, I mean, we can't block anything anyway. I wonder if just playing the Merciless Hunter is enough to leave stuff at home for them. I kind of want to make this vulnerable, or this vulnerable.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them.
So we'll let this one through. If they attack with this, she can block here.
Reporting in?
Yeah, that's fine. This guy blocks there. Okay. I might actually block here too because Akshan gets the strike value. And I don't think the one less defense is a big deal in this matchup. They could have Vile Feast, but we can stop that with Shapestone. With Shaped Stone, pardon me. My game is stuttering today. I'm not sure why. I wonder if just a lot of players are trying out the new set or what's going on here. I don't know, I'm having connection problems or something.
Villains beware.
So this can actually get in for a little bit of damage. Maybe that's fine.
Join the hunters, they said.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Okay, unfortunately Elise is leveling up. We could not have stopped that.
My true beauty is beneath the skin.
So we're gonna trade boards here. It's looking like. All right, I guess they don't need to do that. Well, that's.
I've got the reins.
Figured they'd take Akshan at least, but.
Down.
You know real value when you see it, my friend.
I'm gonna buff Akshan here, then he's gonna level up next turn, and we'll see what we can do about pushing damage.
Explosives prime.
Spell Shield, Tough, and Overwhelm. Well, Spell Shield could be useless, but it also just makes me feel a lot more comfortable. The other two don't seem that interesting.
You cannot run from absolution.
I kind of want to predict and draw one. I don't think I'm summoning a Sandstone Charger. Granting all allies +1 doesn't seem that great either. I feel like I just need to stay alive here. I mean, he could have enough burn in hand, I suppose, that it's going to be tricky to do that, but... I'll take the cheaper
What was theirs is now ours.
unit.
Cool eye patch.
You like it? I mean, shut up and fight!
That's not ideal.
This is justice.
Down to 3 here, so you actually could let all the damage through.
The world won't save itself, you know.
This at least means he has to block with something. Probably gonna be this. We're at a virtual 8 because of this. His deck probably contains Decimates. I don't know if we're gonna... yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough without... Maybe I should have played the Overwhelmer. I was just scared of another leveled Elise off the top and wanted to save enough mana to be able to play a Merciless Hunter, potentially. I mean, they're wisely not playing into that. They could just obviously play it post-combat. But yeah, we need to dodge Decimates, and I guess like more burn spells like that, and another Elise, I suppose. If they just keep playing blockers, I think we're okay.
Didn't lose any relics on the ride over, did you?
No, and I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
I could have used that. It's fine.
Do it.
Carry your own gear.
Call that an offer?
So we lose to Decimate. Alright.
My pressure. Damn it.
Villains beware. One step closer to a
Close
world
one.
without
Very,
villains.
very close one. Grappling Hook might be a good keep, but I kind of want to... our one of Rite of Negation might be pretty good in this matchup. But I wanted a 2-drop. I feel like we're definitely the beatdown in this matchup, so we want to get as aggressive as possible. And there we go, we drew another one anyway.
With my spirit, not my fists.
Let's see if they have a way to protect this. They might. Maybe this is a little greedy. I'm supposed to attack with the other thing. No, worked out fine.
It probably is, eh?
So I could get it Overwhelm if she has the silence thing that's bad. Spell Shield doesn't do much though, so I think I'm just gonna do it. They could always just silence this thing. This thing's currently unblockable on their board, so. That is a Whirling Death. This forces a reaction.
Ready yourself. Your lesson begins.
Technically, I targeted this. I should have picked this one, but...
Only I can endure the dragon's fury.
To serve the greater good.
My lands need me. Center your spirit.
Bye, Lee Sin player. I mean, the deck is pretty much all in on Lee Sin, and yeah, tends to be that when you take out their Lee Sin, they're done ski. I really liked what we had going there, man. We got pretty aggressive with those, with our 3 and 4 into the buffs we were able to provide against their board. It felt really good. I might just keep that. We'll see if this 1, 2, 3, 4 is pretty good. Maybe I'm supposed to throw this back looking for some interaction. There's interaction.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
Got it. We got it first.
So they're gonna play Butcher now, maybe? So now the question is, what's more important? Getting this Warlord's Palace going, or getting Riven down, or maybe we want to hold up mana? There's a lot of possibilities here. I'm gonna get
Break
Riven
the
down.
ties that bind.
Too slow, stupid.
Conflict awaits.
Might as well just attack, who cares? Push 3 damage for 1 defense off of Riven. We're definitely the beatdown in this matchup. We have to get through, what they're doing. This Profiteer can find something to help protect Riven, either give her more defense. It's pretty aggressive. Might be forced to block with Riven here. That's a nice pickup. That one I'm gonna block if it attacks. So that doesn't really work.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right, Arda?
Out of my way!
This one's a fighter.
My board!
Maybe I should have just played this as a blocker. I kind of forgot I had this in hand. That would have been much better, yeah? Almost certainly would have been much better.
You know real value when you see it, my friend.
The whole world will know my language.
Hiya!
Look at that quality!
is death to an immortal?
I'll pass for now.
Must be nice living off stolen coin. Scum. It's not a fake.
Taking this much damage is risky because he could be playing, oh, whatchamacallit. He could be playing, Atrocity, and so his Viego's getting big enough that could be a problem. I think I'm supposed to save,
Your time cycle is done.
I guess that happens, sure.
Remember me, little one. Please.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through. The champion's spell is removal, so that sucks. And now he's leveled up. Also sucks. We could probably get up to a 10. We don't have a buff for her. Because we used the +2 already. I guess she's creating a right, that happens too. If I make him vulnerable, attack with her. He drew another copy of himself, so yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, I'm not sure our deck is ever gonna be fast enough to beat a deck like what our opponent's doing. They just put out so many blockers and they don't care about trading them away because they trade them away for value essentially a lot of the time. And then their Viego comes out, starts leveling up, generating more blockers, more attackers. They're applying pressure and they're slowing us down. And then when he levels, it's like, it's game over. Are we fast enough to beat the deep is another question. That will be an interesting one. I'm wondering if those Preservariums aren't very good in this deck. Figured we'd want a little bit of card advantage.
To serve the greater good.
But maybe they could be better at something else.
I don't need rules to know good from bad. Villains beware.
I'm actually pretty happy with that because he didn't get the life gain off of the card, and we got rid of a something that could potentially block much more powerful.
When will I find peace?
This is awkward. I don't really want Akshan to be the one striking. Maybe it's
This is justice.
could give Riven quick attack. Bone Skewer is not something I considered for their deck, I'll be honest.
Greed'll turn any man into a monster.
So we know what their draw is. I mean, we can kill it if we
These
want.
isles will be cleansed.
The desert's prices?
Just the right price.
Granting all allies +1 is tempting, for sure. Predicting and then drawing 1. I think we have plenty of cards we need to do something like this. He has 8 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Fly to them on broken wings! I won't look back! What conflict awaits?
Is that enough? It is. Well played by opponent.
My treasure.
Am I not supposed to play that out?
Blood and salt.
Words of power linger in the air.
Come to me.
The power of the written word.
I don't want to die to an atrocity, so I guess I'll block.
Last Tinage May buys me a new sail.
The problem now becomes, can I honestly attack? Get them down to 9. We don't have any reach, but he's gonna just play out a huge board.
Chase what you
I
want
guess one of them
without
gets
mercy.
pushed out of the way because of this, sort of, in a sense.
Soon enough. Feeding time.
Yeah, we needed him to have a grip full of sea monsters there, and we would have been able to push through. That was close though. I think had we maybe anticipated Bone Skewer early in the game when our Akshan died, maybe there was something we could have done to play around that, and we would have been off to a better start that potentially could have put us in a better position. But overall, pretty close, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. I think I like this. Merciless Hunter's pretty good though too. Yeah, this might be keepable. That's the thing, right? There's a new archetype, and it's my first build of it. It's gonna take a while before we determine exactly what's best to keep and play and how the matchups work. This is a new archetype too, technically, so.
Villains beware.
That's a bug. He struck himself and dealt 3 the Nexus.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
Yeah, so our opponent should. Oh, it did. Oh, that's so weird. Okay. Well, there it is. Never mind then.
You will not break me.
He could have several buffs. What's the worst one? He could have Sharp Sight. I guess that's the one I need to be cautious of. Okay, so now he's gonna go Sharp Sight into whatever it's called. Yeah. Pretty okay with that though. I'm just gonna play another
Break the
Riven.
ties that bind.
Then we have this, which is kind of neat.
Justice.
The Riven's a bit risky, huh? I don't have the quick attack, so they block here.
Never again will we fall to Dragonfire.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them.
Prepare for battle.
Unfortunately, we can't save our boy.
Mother lost.
Do I play this or do I bank the spell mana? I think it's fine to play.
L'Astinat Rame buys me a new sail.
To me, this comes into play first and should get the vulnerable. And this is the way the game's always been, but I don't know, maybe it's a way to make that less good? I don't know. Could make that Sandstone Charger, huh? Should be kind of good, potentially, right? Because that might be the... Probably try to save this with one of these. Think it's worth it.
The whole world will know my anguish. Surrender to me. Approach me and die.
Brave and dumb.
I'll do this then just to save the Ruin Runner.
My heart.
Kinda sucks, but I don't know. Might be worth it.
Seen tombs, towns, and everything in between.
We're not taking it. We're taking it back.
I thought that game was far from over, but boy. I've already been playing for just over an hour. Doesn't feel like it because I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. I don't think this archetype doesn't seem super good right now. It just seems a little slow with the whole counting down of the palace, Warlord's palace and such. But man, do I love Riven, and I don't know, it's just a fun mechanic. So I've been enjoying myself, even if the deck doesn't seem all that powerful. So I'll play at least this last match, and then we'll see from there. Maybe I'll play another one. Interaction sounds like fun. I don't know about this though. They have some big chunkers. Yeah, like where the beatdowns, I like kinda want more of a curve. We'll play Akshan, we'll swing. Depends on what they do though.
I don't need rules.
They could definitely play like the last wind whatever guy. The tide and the pool. And then by throwing away this 2-1 into either of these, I think. Don't give us a decent Merciless Hunter target. I'm going to play Riven next turn. Curve on out. Pretty good pickup.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys.
Heart and blade, both broken.
Let's just do this. Could see them playing Butcher and all that stuff. Make Riven block if we have to.
I will find someone.
Is that all you got?
Do we want Akshan to strike? Like, I suppose the question is, does he need that second point of toughness against their deck? I remember some versions of their deck, you know, were running with Ring Whale, and I suppose he could also be running, oh, whatchamacallit, but
There's still much to answer for.
I feel like eventually we gotta get through these blockers, right? What he does. It's been so long since I played, so I don't know everything that he can. But he does. He is running Vile Food.
Your time cycle is done.
That's fine. I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to be okay with like never actually getting in with Akshan, because the whole point he's counting this down. But again, I don't know that it's like fast enough for us to really care about what's going on. But I guess we were about to get a Warlord's Horde off of him, so maybe that's the reason why we could have forced that. Yeah, maybe that's the reason to be a little conservative there. Could have blocked with Riven too. That would have been fine. Just wanted that extra value. So yeah, I could see that definitely being greedy of me. Let's do this and go with quick attack on something.
I sense their power. We'll get our licks in.
Okay.
I failed.
Oh!
Grow up so fast.
My board!
Chase what you want without mercy.
Betrayal buried Shurima. Hope revived it.
Might be a predict draw 1. Well, now I can... he can slay a bunch of stuff in response, I suppose. I guess I could do that if he slays. He'd need like 2 slays? That's fine because we still have Whirling Death. And he doesn't want to attack anyway.
Quit struggling.
Do I have to save Whirling Death because of that then? I can't. I guess I died to It's a thingy potentially.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right, Arda?
Yeah, I think we lost this. I probably made some questionable decisions in the early to mid game, but also it's just hard to beat what our opponent's got going on, right? The reason why of all the mid-range decks, it's the one that's kind of stuck around the longest. And yes, we're gonna play one more, see if we can get a win to close out the recording. Yeah, I think I definitely messed up in the early game by blocking with Akshan. And not just because we did get punished for it, but because, yeah, it just wasn't worth the risk anyway. It was definitely worth trying to speed through the palace, and then we would have had we almost certainly would have had the horde going at some point as well. Because we could have powered through, leveled them up, got the horde down, and maybe the power from that could have helped us. Doubtful, but you never know. Our opponent didn't have the greatest draws there, it seemed. It seems like he drew into what he needed.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
But maybe I'm wrong.
War Mason, reporting for duty. Blast him!
Silly thing.
Duty, Empire. To serve the greater good.
Well, I don't think I attack into that. Yikes. I could... So... I could get rid of both with Whirling Death. Is that worthwhile, though? It can't be, right? Like, we have all the blade fragments, we're about to level up. That can't be worth it. Which one do I want the least
For
next turn? Probably this one. I'm gonna have 5 mana next turn, so we go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, no, 4, 5, I guess. We won't have Whirling Death up, which could be sketchy.
I never miss.
Okay, well.
I don't need rules to know good from bad.
Could go +2 on him, quick attack on her. Maybe play Blade of the Exile, depends on what our opponent does. Their biggest form of interaction we'd have to worry about is Noxian Fervor. And
I'm one of the good guys.
okay, they don't have that available anymore now.
Even a fragment snuffs out lives. Make these pieces whole.
I have my orders.
The cost of war.
Moving into sight.
Interesting block. It only saves them 1 damage. Oh, okay, and they realize what they did.
Set
Mistake.
sail. Like a fish in water.
Cool eye patch.
You like it? I mean, shut up and fight!
Keep firing till they're dead on the ground. My kind of plan.
Make it interesting for me.
Fresh out of mercy. Scum.
I think that's acceptable.
Talk is worthless. We are what we do.
Love ya.
This is fleeting, so I have to use it. That doesn't do anything. This doesn't do much. Might want this. Kind of would rather have like a brother's bond or something like that. Yeah, that does make Whirling Death a little bit awkward, eh? Having to use it like that. Alright. Profiteer, play these two. I could also play this and play another Blade Fragment, which is kind of cool.
These hands know metal and magic.
See what they do. Okay. Yep. Awesome. Our aggro deck seems okay against other aggro
You know
decks.
what I must do.
Because I guess we're a little bit more mid-rangey with the with our various forms of interaction. I'm not even sure we're not even that aggro though, are we? I guess we are, but we're definitely more mid-rangey with the fact that we have pretty efficient removal orders. And this one of Rite of Negation to interact sometimes. This might be wrong, by the way. This has never come up in any... I mean, granted, it's a one-of, so you're not going to draw it often, but this could be better, possibly. It's just another Brothers Bond. There were definitely a lot of matches there where I felt like, well, we have Fearsome units or we have Overwhelm units, we want to push damage. We want something like Brothers Bond. It seemed... I thought that this thing ticked down our Warlord's landmarks twice every activation, or based on the first game we played, but I must have missaw that because I think it only did it once every time. Is that because the wording is when you target allies, advance me 1? Yeah, okay, I could see that. So the card is one instance of you targeting allies. It doesn't care how many you targeted, but it's one instance of us targeting allies, so it's going to count you down 1. So that's a little unfortunate. I was hoping this would be a double activation for that, but that's probably fine. Rite of Negation. Yeah, we probably just don't have the time for something like that, and we would rather just like do something like this. There's also just other units I could consider. Possibly other spells. Do we want 1-drops? That would be worth considering. Maybe the Treasure Seeker. Probably not, though. Anyway, that's something to think about. For now, though, I'd probably just get rid of that. And everything else felt good. Honestly, the Vagabond felt pretty good because you want to start ticking down that palace right away, even when you don't find your Akshan, and even when you do, curving the 2 into 3 just to accelerate it felt pretty great. There was definitely some... With more experience with this deck, I think I could have done better in some of those matches, right? Like the one game where I should have just held the Akshan back, I could have turboed out his level up, potentially started counting down that Warlord's Horde and using the effects of that to push through the Gnosis Thresh deck that we faced. That might have been enough to push us through there. There's definitely some interesting sequencing you have to consider with things like that one game where we played a defensive Whirling Death, and then we had, a mediocre Relic of Power, right? We had to pick something that didn't really give us a whole lot. So sequencing your moves and stuff in that way is going to be interesting. It also just might be too much, like it just might not be worth it, right? Like it's not like we would never use the Whirling Death in that situation, but maybe there were things in the previous rounds I could have done, for example, to ensure that landmark was popping off the next turn. Then we could have played a free Sandstone Charger. I think a lot of the times is going to be the best thing to pick when you have the attack token. But predict draw 1 is still a great choice, but it definitely felt like a consolation prize in the situation we were in that game. Anywho, I think I mentioned this in towards one of the end of one of our last matches there. Not sure this deck is very powerful. It's kind of slow for an aggro deck, just like counting down these landmarks. The value you're getting off of them doesn't seem to be worth the time investment, Other decks are like burning you out by that point and getting their last bit of damage in they need, or doing something like comboing off if they're like the severe Zed deck. And ours is like, as good as those abilities are, they're not very game-ending necessarily. Like, it really depends, but man, it's just fun. That's the thing, right? Riven's ever since she hit the game, she's been one of my favorite champions, and having a deck that really rewards you even more for playing out the blade fragments feels great. So just getting more opportunities to play with her feels good. And Akshan in the Warlord's Palace, and just like counting them down, getting to play with all these interesting, unique effects is fun. So like, what can I say? It's just a fun deck, and I think it has potential. So just playing around with it more and seeing if it has a potential to be consistent enough. Even if it's not a tier 1 aggro deck, if it's like a tier 2 aggro deck, it'd be worth playing on the ladder every once in a while if you're looking to switch things up, right? So yeah, that's gonna do it for me, and yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. I think that's gonna be it. I'll try to be back next week. We'll stream a couple more new decks, but I need to get ready to go on vacation, and I want to make sure this video is uploaded, so I don't want to waste too much more time. I think we're gonna try our Spooky Swain deck and maybe a Deathmark Viego deck. I'm sure the best nation to be pairing with this guy is going to be Shurima, but I want to try different things before we default to that. And yeah, alright, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.